Did you know that mast cells release a lot more than just histamine? We're going to be learning about that and other things today as we dive into allergic reactions and anaphylaxis. Come on. Alright, let's dive into this. But before we get any further, let's do a quick overview of what we're going to be learning about today. First of all, we're going to look at what the difference is between an allergic reaction and anaphylaxis. This is really important so we can distinguish it in the field when we see it. Secondly, we want to look at the pathophysiology behind the two and see what's really happening in the body when we encounter this. So this first video is going to be a pretty general overview of allergic reactions and anaphylaxis. From there, we're going to do deeper dives on each individual process and medication used in treatments and so forth in the future. So make sure to keep an eye out for those. Alright, so let's first dissect the difference between an allergic reaction and anaphylaxis. Simply put, an allergic reaction is a single body system. Anaphylaxis is two or more body systems involved. Now, it's important to remember that all the chemical mediators and hormones that are happening throughout the body are the same in both processes. So, let's use an example. If somebody just has hives or urticaria, that is the integumentary system. So that's a single body system, therefore just an allergic reaction. However, if the person also has nausea and vomiting, that is then the GI system as well. So you have two body systems, making it an anaphylactic reaction. This can be true of any of the body systems. So if they're having shortness of breath and nausea, anaphylaxis, and so on and so forth. So make sure you're properly examining your patients and seeing what signs, symptoms, and problems that they are having. Alright, so next, let's dive into the pathophysiology of it all, or what's happening within the body. And tell you what, to make it easier, I brought my iPad out here, so let me just draw it up for you. To start the process, the antigen has to enter the body. Antigens are present in multiple sources, from everything including food, venom, medicine, just to name a few. Once an antigen is within the bloodstream, it is recognized and picked up by a B cell, which is a type of white blood cell. The B cell then uses that to make immunoglobulin, or IgE for short. This is so that the body can recognize the antigen the next time it enters the body. Once this happens, the IgE then goes throughout the body to find mast cells and basophils, and then proceeds to bind to them. This is what happens the first time you are exposed to an antigen, and it's a process called sensitization. During this first exposure, however, there was no immune response. All of the changes are during the second exposure. This time, the antigen actually skips over the B cell and can bind directly to the IgE that is bound to the mast cells and the basophils. This then kicks off the allergic reaction or anaphylactic reaction. Once the antigen is bound to the mast cell and basophil, they begin to do something called degranulation. Simply put, it means that the mast cell is creating and dispersing different stored chemical hormones that are designed to help fight and get rid of antigens that are within the body. There are lots of things that are released from the mast cells and basophils as a result of the degranulation. However, we're just going to cover a few. We're going to be looking at things such as histamine, heparin, nitric oxide, prostaglandins, leukotrienes, and even cytokines. As I said earlier, I'm going to be making a separate video for each of these things so that we can understand exactly what's happening and on a deeper level. But for now, let me just write out some of these main effects you're going to see. We've got things like urticaria or hives, itching, vasodilation, and increased vasopermeability. So basically our blood vessels are getting larger and becoming leaky. Our blood is also getting thinner and clotting less because of the heparin that's being released. This is increasing the amount of blood leaving your vasculature. We have bronchospasms, bronchoconstrictions, and increased bronchial mucus production, which simply put means our small airways are tightening, contracting, and producing a lot of extra mucus. Then we also have things such as angioedema, which is a deep swelling. We mostly think of seeing this in the facial area, but it can also be found in the hands, feet, and groin. And last but not least, of course, we have nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Keep in mind that these signs and symptoms can vary greatly, depending both on how severe the reaction is and also potentially how the person was exposed to the antigen. So if this person was exposed to a topical antigen, such as poison ivy, that will present more with a rash and hives typically first. However, some ingested antigens will be seen more with nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea first. Of course, this is not true for all cases, but it does give you a place to start when you're trying to diagnose if an allergic reaction or an anaphylactic reaction is occurring. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching with us, and don't forget, this is only the first video in the whole series of allergic reactions and anaphylaxis, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Click the like and subscribe down below, and we'll make sure that you don't miss a single video coming up. Also, if you've got any questions or comments, or there's something more you want to learn about allergic reactions and anaphylaxis, make sure to include that in your comment down below, or submit an email request to us. Email is in the link below as well. Thank you again for joining me here today and learning with me here at White Line Medicine.